at some point. And the ideal is that you got Nappy Tappy Sharpton out there trying to advocate for the Asian community, holding rallies in New York in support of the Asian community. I resent that because activism that he basically is supposed to be, who he's supposed to be being an activist for is Black people. Because we're the ones that's been discriminated against. And there in New York, when they were held in the press conference about this so-called attack on Asians, I saw him with Ben Crump in the back. You see, that's the reason why this word civil rights is very dangerous. Word civil rights is very dangerous because it involves everybody. And we on the Black grassroots, we don't like to include everybody because that means that we can't get our tangibles up by ourselves. You see, that's the reason why we're fighting here against Jim Crow Joe Biden, because he wants to include the Native Americans in the reparations bill. No. The Native Americans got their reparations. You see, the Jews got their reparations. The Japanese during World War II got their reparations. And none of them, in getting their reparations, needed a panel to study. You see, you got to understand something about the white supremacists. They are against us for specific reasons. They are against us is because Black people have always wanted to be assistants. Okay? Dr. John Henry Clark talked about the nice Black man. Dr. John Henry Clark talked about the nice Native American man. See, Black people like to be nice to everyone. But as soon as I walk in a club and step in your feet, nigga, what the hell are you doing? Man, nigga, you better watch out, you know? But we're not nice to each other. You know, we have Black people who have not talked to each other in years. But let a white person, you get a met a white person do you dirty, oh, you're coming to God tomorrow. You have a coming to Jesus moment tomorrow. A white supremacist can shoot your child down in the streets in cold blood, and you're holding and hailing the white supremacist in your hand. That's a bad type of Jesus, isn't it? You know, a Jesus in a Christian society that teaches you to love your enemy and hate yourself. Malcolm talked about this. That's a weird society because you would think if that's what Jesus is talking about. So we have our inability to love. And of course, damn, here come YouTube messing with my live. ScrewTube, come on. I'm trying to talk to my people. Come on. So that's the reason why we often talk there about the Black conservative. The Black conservative is very dangerous in our community. The Black liberal is dangerous in our community. Both of them are dangerous because the ideology is not Black first. You see, I don't have a problem with you being a Black gay person as long as you Black first. I don't have a problem with you being a Black Christian as long as you Black first. I don't have a problem with you being LGBT, and that's an issue. Hit that thumbs up button, subscribe and like, share and subscribe, family. Hit that thumbs up button. We are also on Blog Talk Radio, our national program here, the Lawyer Henderson Podcast Show, coming on to you for every Thursday and Sunday, family. Every Thursday and Sunday, family. But the black conservatives also suggest that we got to stop blaming the white supremacists for our problems. We basically gave the numbers to not only the black liberals and Jim Crow Joe Biden, all these other people, we also gave the same numbers to the black conservatives. And we said, of course, society is that we cannot live off $1.3 trillion. We can't, because black people are giving their money away. Black people are sitting here literally rationalizing and justifying not only their oppression, but they are justifying why white people should have more money than them. That's a people who are really, really sick. You got black people on the streets out there arguing over religion and arguing over the right to be poor. That's an issue here. And so therefore, the Bible talks about abundance all day. But then yet you're going to be on the street debating another black man as to why you shouldn't go out and seek tangibles. You got to wait for your pie in the sky. That's a problem. A lot of the problems that we're facing in the United States, we're facing it because of our unwillingness to come together to throw out all of these ideologies that doesn't work, like black conservatives and black liberals or black independents. These are words that are confusing us and undermining us and separating and dividing us. There's no tangible benefit to any of these phrases, these names. The black conservative know this, but he likes to play games. And it's a problem when you're a bootleg, because look at that. You see how Herman Cain did all of that for the Trump administration. Did everything that he could and supported them to a T. And don't you know, not one white media coverage his funeral. That's the ideal that the bootleg think that somebody is going to really help them, that's going to really think that they are some type of leader that we should pass on down. That's what they have with John Lewis. I shed blood in Selma, you see. John Lewis, they had him, they always have to show the picture of John Lewis or some other person with Dr. King. You should just go out there and look at. That's what they're trying to tell our generation. But we cannot, us black folks in our 30s and 40s, we cannot educate. Parents have been taught along with the civil rights generation. No, it's a bad idea. But then you have the ultimate bootleg black conservative, Larry Elder. He was happy to testify against H.R. 40, the bill that's supposed to study a panel for slavery, even though it's just a bill to have a discussion, and they're going to be paying people to go and do this research, and they're going to be putting some white folks and all these people on the board. But even in a sense, old boot-licking, butt-dancing, shuffling, jiving Negro Larry Elder testified against reparations. And on his website, he was basically happy and excited to tell his white conservative friends how much he did a grave disservice to black community as he thought about what he was going to say to Constitution, civil rights and civil liberties regarding H.R. 40, examining the path to reparative justice in America. In other words, reparations. This is the first part of the statement I submitted. Reparation is an extraction of money from people who were never slave owners to be given to people who were not slaves. That's his opening statement. You see what I'm saying? He's letting you know, he's telling his white conservative friends, hey guys, I'm on your side. Look what I said to Congress against these Negroes. Did y'all like my opening statement, White Daddy? White Daddy, did y'all like that? I said that 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 reparations is an extraction of money from people who were never slave owners to be given to people who were never slaves. End quote. That's where he opened up as. Number one, he's wrong. Number one, if you really want to look at it, is that although white people, the present generation, did not enslave us, but they still have inherited the monies. And then our forefathers has not gotten the money from their hard work that's supposed to be passed on to us. See, that's what this bootlick don't understand. But anyway, he goes on to say, though, that it is also interesting that we are having this hearing at a time when racism as a barrier to succeed has never been so insignificant. And in 1991, Black Democrats and Harvard sociologist Orlando Patterson said, the sociological truth are that America, while still flawed in its race relations and its stubborn refusal to institute a rational universal welfare system, is now at least racist white majority society in the world, has a better record protection of black persons than any other society, including all of those of Africa. You see, that's what he's basically doing. See, what he did is he got with his white conservative friends and he's speaking from their point of view and telling his own kind, look, Negroes just don't deserve reparations. That's what he's saying. He goes on to say, though, that in 1997, Time and CNN did a broad survey of black and white teens, asked whether racism is a majority problem in America. Both said yes. But when black teens were asked whether racism was a big problem, small problem, or no problem in their own daily lives, 89% said small or no problem. In fact, nearly twice as many black teens compared to white teens agreed that failure to take advantage of available opportunities was a bigger problem than racism. You see, of course, who was that generation though? In 1997, I think I was around 13, 14, 17, somewhere around there. And the society was basically, see, that's how they were able to get this lie. Because the civil rights generation set the precedent that we should not challenge white daddy and white mommy on tangible things. That if they just get crumbs for themselves and from their family, oh, then that's basically something that's given to the black people community as a whole. That's what they believed during the civil rights generation era. You see, you're dealing with a different type of black people here, Larry Bootlick Elder. You see, Larry Elder is one of these black people who are financed by these white conservative, white extreme racists. And they give him his talking point, just like Reverend Jesse Lee Peterson, Candace Owens. All of them are financed by the Republicans, the white conservatives. And that's why that they think that they're relevant in our society. You see, the black bootlick, on whether he a Democrat or Republican, the white media likes to prop them out because they know that there's no real argumentation about the truth because truth have no moral stand in this society. So they need people like Larry Elder and the Reverend Jesse Lee Peterson and Candace Owens. They need those people out there to brush on a society of, oh, we're all just one and we all love each other and everybody just love, love, love. There's a problem with that. You see, these white supremacists like to finance these black bootlegs. And the black conservatives know that they are basically speaking talking points that is not true. That's the reason why the white media does not bring on black grassroots members or people of the black grassroots. Because the black grassroots must tell it like it is. Okay? It's just like a child. Nellie Fuller talked about the child. There's a lot of black folks who don't like to just deal with things how it is. They like to basically be caught up into this facade, this farce. Oh, that we're living in this society where America is the best country of the world. It might be the best country of the world. You might have fun. You might have, all these great things and advantages. But hell, you got to go over hoops and hurdles. You experience all kinds of racism, discrimination, institutionalized racism. You got to deal with police corruption, brutality, government going after you, tax evasions, and all that stuff. I've often told you that black people get arrested for mistakes. You understand? You have white men engaging in all kinds of white collar crimes and stuff. They only go after one of them and tell the rest of them, all right, the rest of y'all better shape up now. Yeah, that's what Bush did when he was in office. He had all of those white men who was cheating in the stock market, and he only arrested 15 of them, and they got out the next day. You see, so much of you having true conservative values, you see. The article goes on to say about Uncle Tom Larry Elder that during the 2008 race for the presidency, the majority contenders were Democrat Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton, and Republican Mitt Romney, a Mormon, and Senator John McCain, who would have been 72 by the time he entered office, if elected. A 2007 Gallup poll found fewer Americans refused to vote for black persons 5%, then would refuse to vote for a woman 11%, then would refuse to vote for a Mormon 24%, then would refuse to vote for someone who would be 72 upon entering office 42%. In 2007, the year before he was elected president, Obama spoke at a black church on the anniversary of Bloody Sunday. He said, the previous generation, the Moses generation, the generation of Martin Luther King Jr., pointed the way. They took us 90% of the way there, but we still got that 10% in order to cross over to the other side. Understand? You see, that is a problem. The black conservative and the black liberal are not pushing us nowhere. They're pushing, we go 5 steps up, we get pushed back 10 steps back. So the black conservative and the black liberal, you got to understand the white supremacists among both of them always are on code when it comes to black people. So when they finance their bootlegs like Larry Elder and Reverend Jesse Lee Peterson and Candace Owens, they need these people in the media. They use them on the white conservative mainstream media to justify their conservative points. And like I said, they steal some of the talking points from the grassroots to make it seem and appear like they're a support of us. See, you have a lot of white people who acknowledge that white supremacy, that racism exists, that black people have suffered a great deal. Okay. But yet, when it comes to the solutions, oh, well, you niggas don't deserve anything. I'll apologize. I'll give you gestures. I will knock down the General Robert E. Lee's monument. But you niggas are not going to get no resources. No, we're not going to give you no money. We're not going to give you resources to help you. Okay. Now, notice on LarryElder.com, he has this Denise D'Souza. And in my book, Foolish American Politics, I talk about Denise D'Souza. He calls the left, the Democrats, the enemy. See, they like to go back and forth that, oh no, it's the white conservative, the conservatives, they're the ones who are keeping black folks and it's such and such. Oh no, it's the Democrats. They're the ones who is saying, I want more rare fair programs and all this old stuff. See, them together make these talking points where both of them are blaming each other, where black people really don't sit and say, wait a minute, both of y'all argument is inconsequential, is not significant to the point where both of y'all keeping us back because both of y'all refusing to give us resources. You see, they like to say, oh no, it's the Democrats. They like to play, oh no, that's the Republicans. They like to play the mind games with black folks, and black people jump on that bandwagon. And that's the reason why every time they come up with a program, we look some 20 years and we're still in the same position. That's because black people don't know how to say, okay, well, let me just basically have you two arguing. And then when it comes to really dealing with black folks' problem, then let's leave this politics out of it. We're talking about the conditions of my people, and that's what Dr. Claude Anderson points out. He points out basically in Powernomics and other books that he's written, like Dirty Little Secrets, how the Democrats and Republicans, politicians in general, have been keeping black people away from economics and tangibles, have been keeping us away from resources, have been basically using broad and ambiguous language like minorities and people of color, and using like distressed neighborhoods and all these old things instead of just saying the black community. And they've been doing that during the civil rights era. Our parents have been basically allowing them to get away with that for so long that they thought that that's going to work with us, the black grassroots and the new generation. Oh, hell no. You see, what we're educating the black grassroots on and the younger generation after us is that we cannot no longer talk about that minority and that people of color crap. Don't you know that they are basically saying that they were going to include a $15 minimum wage by 2025, but they said some parliament said that they should leave out the minimum wage. I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? You're the Democratic majority. How could they basically have a parliament to stop you from including a $15 minimum wage for the average worker by 20? It should have been passed. But now you're waiting to 2025 and you still might not get that. It's like, come on, these people are playing games, man. And that's the reason why we just said, forget it. We don't need your education because your education is crap. It does not land us a good job. It does not prepare us for entrepreneurship. We just want our reparations. You see, the reason why white people don't like giving reparations to black folks, even though they know we owe it, that we are owed, is that they want us to stay under them. They want us to continue to be their workers. They want us to continue to be a class into which we just work and do everything for them. And you have a lot of black folks out there who like to work for white mommy and white daddy so that they don't have to do the real work. You see what I'm saying? They like to basically play around because they know that white mommy and white daddy is going to do all of the bigger stuff. Okay? And that's the reason why we are basically saying, no, we want our tangibles. I mean, we can take care of ourselves. We did so during Reconstruction. You understand? And so if we did so during Reconstruction, and we only had about an estimate of 20 million black folks at that time, or less, now we have double of that. And we would have had triple that had we haven't got a lot of black women to abort babies. We would have been 80 million strong in the United States at this point. But what I wanted to basically talk about, though, is that the black conservative, you see, the black conservative is just as dangerous as the black liberal. Both of them is keeping us stagnant. Okay? And the Democrats have become worse. And the reason why the Democrats have become worse is because they have been talking about the LGBT community. They've been talking about Asians being attacked. What Asians have been attacked? There's not been really no Asians been attacked, and we're out there. You're saying that black people are randomly, out there attacking Asians. We're not out there. Black folks are not out there just attacking Asians for no apparent reason. We're not doing that. But they're trying to basically make it appear that they're dealing with their buffer class, and they want to take care of their buffer class. And they're trying to get these Asians to say, oh yeah, these Negroes, they're out there, they're the ones who's attacking you Asians, and these Negroes, they're the ones who, you see that black man, he's on camera, look at him pushing that old Asian woman down. See, oh man, this is, okay, like I said, you forgot about what Peter Liang did to Akai Gurley. You forgot about all the Asians who have been socking black women out when they go out of these, they come out of these stores, these wig shops and weave shops and stuff like that. What about the Asian men who do that? Should we basically be aware of Asian and Asian men who are out here attacking black people? You see, when you let the white media, you had all of the three national media out there talking about what the Asian community is doing. You have them, of course, saying, oh, it's black men, and black men, they're the ones who's doing. And while hate crimes should be used carefully, social media posts have conflated violence against people who are Asian American with hate crimes against the community at large, tying the crime to pandemic racism. You see, they're saying this because the Asians need money, because we had stopped going into their stores now. And the reason why we had stopped going into their stores is because of the virus. So now that the Asians is no longer living off of black people, they're now turning around blaming us for not having no money, because 99% of all of their money. So this is what they're trying to say. A recent wave of attacks on Asians. American prompts call for activists, experts. What is this? Why is this one? To use precise and caution as they go out. So they're already beefing up not the fact, but the lie that we're just out here just randomly knocking Asians down. Like we're basically, we're the bad people out here. Those black men, they're out there pushing Asian down, and they'll show about one or two black men. In some cases, look like the same black person doing this. And we have to basically be very, very careful, okay, about what's going on. If we basically are being accused of attacking Asians, we better stay out of these people's shop then. We better stay out of their shops, going to Chinatown to eat something, since we as black folks are the ones who are doing this to Asians. We gotta stop it then. We gotta stop going to these stores and all these other places in support of Asians. You understand? All right, so that was the end. I was going to say the number, but we have going to be concluding the call-in section, but we'll still be live on YouTube. So if you're on Instagram, go ahead and go to Lawyer Henderson TV on YouTube. We're going to log off from Blog Talk Radio, and everyone should be switching to YouTube right now. But we have about 5 or 10 more minutes on YouTube, and we'll go ahead and keep it going on YouTube. But the listeners on Blog Talk Radio, thank you for your time and have a nice day. If you're on Blog Talk Radio, thank you for joining us there. Also on Instagram, thank you. Have a nice night. We're on YouTube right now. Now, ScrewTube has been messing with my feed. They have been messing with my feed. Okay. So is that the case, guys? Are we basically attacking Asians? Are black men attacking? Are black people attacking Asians? You understand? That's what they're out there saying. They're saying that, oh man, these Negroes, they're the ones who are pushing these old Asian women down. And the NYPD, they're not doing anything about it. And so that's going to give the NYPD the justification to go out there and slam black men against the wall and even shoot and kill some. And so now we're looking at this and we're going, wait a minute. Why is it that y'all are blaming the black community? Why is it that you got Al Sharpton over there talking about that we have to hold a press conference and you got Ben Crump sitting there with them and other black men? No, we have not done anything against no Asian men. No Asian people. We have been supporting Asian people. We have a long history of supporting the Asian community. We have also helped them fight in Korea and other places. Amos Wilson talked about the fact that black men died in Korea, helping the Asian people against the white supremacists. The white supremacists was invading their country. Black men went over there and protected them. You see, black men, we have a history of protecting people. We just don't come together to protect ourselves. We have everybody against us, and still yet we basically wake up tomorrow and start to try to work for this system again, over and over and over again. And now we got Al Sharpton out there talking about, oh, we should basically be concerned about the Asian community. We're going to rally and we're going to protest. No. Why are you rallying and protesting for them? There was no black man that pushed this man down. You probably can only get me about one black person that was involved, and the rest of them are white men. And then on top of that, you'll say, oh, it's a growing number of people attacking the Asian community. And then what they'll do is they'll go to, they'll show a picture of black men, and then say, oh, they're the ones who are basically, doing all the crime. And then before you know it, here come the NYPD and other police departments attacking black men. Because in order to keep a system of oppression going, You got to attack the black man. The black man is basically he's the threat to the society as a whole. A black woman is not a threat to society as a whole because she's educated by the white man. The white man is not going to basically see her as a threat. Not only is she educated, you even got her over there living with the white supremacists. She's no threat to them. They don't like us, the black man. And so they basically is working also with the LGBT community. They got other people out there, the Shea Butter Twitter crowd. They got Tarana Birch out there. What's her name? They got her, Tarana Birch, or however you say this woman's name. They got her out there. I mean, they are basically coming for black men again. And they're saying that we are the ones responsible for these Asian attacks. When it's the white supremacists who are out there attacking Asians, not us. And so therefore, I knew that they were going to try to do this. The white media has a history of trying to change the narrative here. You see, the white media has a history of trying to change the narrative because if you look at it, their numbers are dwindling. So what they're going to try to do is they're going to try to get as much of the buffer class as they can on their side to undermine us. That's what they're doing. You see. So why is it then that we need to hold a rally for the Asian community? What would be the point of holding a rally for them? They never went to a rally in a sense then as a majority to help us when we're getting shot and killed by the police. Okay? You see, what we have to understand is that this is all propaganda. And so is getting really attacked is black men and black people. But U.S. Today is reporting from Denver that Helen O was walking down the sidewalk of a downtown 16th Street pedestrian mall in April when two young men approached from the other direction. The coronavirus pandemic has been spreading in the United States for a month, and Asian American communities group were warning of a disconcerting surge of hateful and racist language directed towards them tied to the virus of origins in China. Oh, an attorney was on her guard. The two men drew closer. Infected and disgusting, one called out as they passed, she said. Heart racing, she ducked into a drugstore. I didn't think to say anything back when I heard it. It really only sunk in as I was walking away, she said. Stepping back onto the street, oh, dirty, walked towards around her, she said. These were white supremacists doing this to her. Remember the Asian guy who got beat up in the UK? White supremacists did that. Jim Crow Joe Biden, they just announced, had signed a particular bill for Asians specifically, making it a hate crime against Asians. And now basically it's wanting to beef up this lie that all of a sudden that the country is just against Asians here. The article from the U.S. Today goes on to write, though, that the woman literally walked off the sidewalk to be as far from me as possible. Oh, said There was no one else around, and it was so obnoxious. One incident she might have written off as the kind of casual racism she had encountered all her life as the daughter of a Korean immigrants, but two in such a short time. It was clear, she said, that she was beaten target building that was being built. Oh, said, I avoided going out by myself for a while. You see, they got Asian people now downtown New York holding signs talking about stop racism against Asian Americans, stop discrimination. And they got Asian people waving American flags that we are American Asians here. Don't you get it, people? The Asian community is losing their businesses because Black people are deciding that they want to do business with each other for the first time in a long damn time. The article goes on to write that Asian Americans across the United States are reporting a significant increase in hate crime, harassment, and discrimination tied to the spread of the COVID-19 pandemic. Weaponized Asian Americans, many of whom have long felt invisible, to speak out about the hatred and the racism being directed their way. Community leaders are calling for a greater enforcement of existing hate crime laws, better connection with local police departments charged with investigating hateful incidents, and other Americans to consider the impact of their words and actions on the country's estimated 21 million Asian Americans. Asian American entertainers are using their platform to highlight the issue. Asian American journalists are sharing their own stories of discrimination on social media, and a growing choir of federal lawmakers are demanding action. This is the propaganda if you want to then have the 21 million Asians that's in this country right now as your new buffer class. You want to be able to make sure that you do just enough to say, oh, you Asian guys, since we're now the majority of white folks in this country, you remember we were there to help you guys now, okay? Don't let them niggers run for office here, and don't let them niggers do this. And these niggers, they basically they're out of control here. The article goes on to say that the pandemic has especially struck a nerve for the Asian American community, which have forced many to realize that simple discrimination can turn violent, said Democratic Rep. Ted Lieu of California, who is a member of the Congressional Asian Pacific American Caucus. The fight against the bamboo ceiling is now also about physical safety, he said. For a large number of Asian Americans, especially the young generation, they now seeing for the first time actual violence directed at them or their grandparents, Liu said. It is highly disturbing. Folks, nobody is targeting the Asian community. These are random, I'm broke, and offer to steal your damn chain type of people. Okay? It's all kinds of people, whether they white men or a black man or whoever, they're just engaging in regular crime. That's all they're doing. They're engaging in regular crime. They're not basically just specifically targeting Asians. I can show you hundreds of articles of black people getting robbed right now. But the article in U.S. Today goes on to say, though, that in January, President Joe Biden issued an executive order. You see what I'm saying? See, Biden is doing all of these executive orders for everybody else. But the black community has not gotten one thing from Jim Crow Joe Biden since the black community put him in office. In January, President Joe Biden issued an executive order condemning the attack and without naming them, criticizing former President Donald Trump and other federal officials who repeatedly referred to COVID-19 as the China virus or the Kung flu. That's a no one. the, the Kung flu. I didn't hear nobody say the Kung flu. I flew. I didn't hear that. The order calls for the better data collection about hateful incident and mandates federal agencies to fight racism and xenophobia and intolerance directed at Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders, or AAPI. They're playing games. The federal government must recognize that it has played a role in furthering these xenophobic sentiments through the actions of political leaders, including reference to the COVID-19 pandemic by the geographic location of its origins. Biden said in his order, such statement has stoked unfounded fears and perpetrated a stigma about Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders and have contributed to increasing rates of bullying, harassment, and hate crimes against AAPI persons. You see? So, in other words, since we stopped eating in their restaurants, all of a sudden we're anti-Asian. Well, they're saying that we've been attacking them, so we wanted to stay home. They got Asian people now out in certain locations and they're going up against the police. Where is this at? New Zealand? Is that New Zealand? New Zealand? But it goes on to say that among recent incidents in January, an 84-year-old Thai American man was brutally shoved in San Francisco and later died. That same month, police in Oakland, California said a young man shoved three elderly people to the ground from behind in the city's Chinatown neighborhood, knocking out one. And this week, a 36-year-old Asian man in New York Chinatown neighborhood was stabbed and taken to the hospital in critical condition. The suspect in that assault faces charges that include attempted murder as a hate crime and assault as a hate crime, among other charges, the New York Police Department said. The surge in hate incidents against Asian American communities since the start of the pandemic was set aflame last winter when Trump began scapegoating Chinese people for an explosion of coronavirus in the United States. It gave a lot of people permission to act on their prejudice, says Mabel Manner, president of OCA Chicago, a chapter of OCA, a Washington, D.C. based nonprofit that advocate for civil rights of Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders. You see, they have all of these organizations. They got more organizations here at 21 million than we have at, 51 million. The racism and discrimination accompanying the pandemic comes atop the devastation the disease has had on some portions of the Asian and Pacific Islander community, including health-related businesses closures and a death at least 67 Filipino registered. No, see, here's where we're getting down to the nitty-gritty, including health-related business closures. You understand? They basically are suffering because nobody is eating in their damn restaurants. Okay? A staggering 31% of all nurses deaf, even those Filipinos, make up only 4% of registered nurses in the United States, according to the National Nurse United. Pacific Islanders rank third in terms of coronavirus death, behind Native Americans and Black Americans. You understand? So they got a lot of Asian people outside New York, family, and they're basically trying to get people to support the businesses. People are discriminating against them so that we can run back into their community, which they basically. Hold on, let me get rid of this ad. Hold on, guys. So they basically could get us to foolishly go back into these stores of theirs so they can continue to live a lavish lifestyle and not depend on government income. Now, they do want the money from the government, they want the PPP loans, and they want all of the resources as well as the Black customers who have been supporting their businesses that are shut down because of COVID 19. Who is supporting their businesses now? Now, we do have a few dumb Negroes up there, despite this COVID 19. They're still going back in these Chinese restaurants eating that fried rice and wings. But we have to understand, though, is that there's just not a real attack on these people, man. It's just that people are just not eating in their stores. It's risky to do it right now. You understand? It's not people just not hating them. It's just risky right now.
To raise your hand against a member of our Asian communities, you will suffer the consequences. We have the strongest efforts in this country to fight hate crimes. The NYPD is focused like never before on finding anyone who commits a hate crime and making sure they suffer the penalties they deserve for what they've done.
Okay.
Particular focus in the subways with the new NYPD officers that we've sent.
All right. So why is it the subway? Because remember they showed the black folk, the two black guys. They showed them, knocking down and pushing down an Asian person. That's the reason why they want to come after black men first, because that's what they do. The white community basically like to rub and blame everything on black men, and so this is their whole agenda here. Okay, but this is the NYC mayor warns against Asian hate. I hope that you're listening and hearing.
The NYPD is watching to protect folks and stop these horrible hate actions.
Here in New York, we recently saw cases of these hate incidents.
Really? See, oh, come on, man. Okay, you hear that? A lot of Asians are afraid to leave their homes. Man, hold on. These ads are getting on my damn nerves. Hold on, guys. So, so now they're afraid to leave their homes because they have supposedly have basically experienced all this violence against them. Come on, man. Black people deal with these types of things every day. Welcome to the United States. We deal with this every day, and there has not been that much. The government, every time you say, "Oh, black person need help," oh hell, them niggas don't need no help. We basically deal with this every day. It's called crime. It happens in every community. This is not no attack just upon Asians. This is propaganda. So now I'm gonna go ahead and close this out. Y'all on YouTube is screwing up the page. but I have a part 1 first, and then I have a part 2, and then I will edit it later. I got to do some more stuff, but I will edit it later, and I'll have the video up for you on YouTube. Don't forget to share, like, and subscribe. But ladies and gentlemen, to close out, nobody is basically attacking Asians. We just are not eating in their restaurants, you know? We can't go back into their restaurant. Now, there's, like I said, there's certain people who are eating in Asian restaurants. We just can't go in there right now. And they're feeling that effect, and they're learning, and they're knowing now how it like to be us, because we were dealing with poverty, we're dealing with struggle, we have black folks been doing that since slavery. We've been learning how to do things since slavery here. So there's no anti-racism against Asian people. It's just random crimes is happening now, because we're all basically, there's people who are still who might have not gotten enough money to feed their family, or that guy on the street may basically see that you were vulnerable at the time, and just went and snatched your purse because he or she was hungry. But there is no attack on Asians. Why would Jim Crow Joe Biden and the mayor of New York try to pass these policies so that they can just go after just random black men? It just don't make sense. But anyway, that's the day. Hit like and subscribe, family. Share this video with your friends and families. Be very careful when you're going into these Asian shops and around Asians, because any kind of, if you just now look at them wrong, they're going to say hate crime, and they're going to report it to the white media. And before you know it, we're going to have to be raising money to get your black tail out of jail. So stay out of their restaurants. Stay out of their stores. Don't even patronize their business if this is the way that they're going to do it. And the white media is basically patting them on the back. And so therefore, I agree. We should not be eating in their restaurants. We should not be buying any of their food. We should not be going to their spas right now. We should not be getting massages and their parlors, or whatever you call them. We should not be doing anything related to the Asians right now, because this is a very dangerous time. COVID-19 virus is out there, and we just don't know where it's going. That's it. No discrimination. It's just that we don't know what's going on. All right, family. Like, share, and subscribe. This is the Lawyer Henderson podcast show. Thanks for joining me. See you later.